morning. This is Omni View, episode 57 for May 21st, 2026. Balanced news perspectives. Let's look at the day's news from every angle. Iran's expanded claim over the Strait of Hormuz raises risks for global oil supplies that millions depend on for energy and transport costs. Iran has published a map asserting armed forces oversight across more than 22,000 square kilometers of the waterway. The move comes amid ongoing regional tensions and follows statements from Iranian officials about enforcing control in the area. Shipping routes through the strait carry a significant share of global oil trade. BBC reporting frames the announcement as a direct assertion of authority that could complicate navigation for international vessels. Some analysts see it as leverage in broader diplomatic talks, while others view it as an escalation that heightens uncertainty for energy markets. Both sides agree the strait remains a vital passage. They differ on whether the map represents a legal claim or a political signal. How might shipping companies adjust routes if oversight increases? Shifting now to developments in Central Africa, an Ebola outbreak in DR Congo involves a rare strain and is occurring in a conflict-affected area. Health teams face difficulties reaching patients and tracing contacts. The country has also canceled a planned World Cup training camp as a precaution. BBC coverage emphasizes the logistical barriers created by both the rare strain and ongoing insecurity in the region. Local health workers stress the need for rapid containment, while international observers note that past outbreaks succeeded when communities trusted response teams. The facts show 139 deaths so far. Interpretations focus on whether conflict or the virus strain poses the greater immediate obstacle. What makes certain Ebola strains harder to contain than others? Now, to really understand this story, there's something most coverage leaves out. Most reporting assumes standard medical protocols can be applied uniformly, yet insecurity in places like DR Congo alters every step. Response teams must first negotiate safe access with local armed groups, then establish contact tracing networks that rely on community trust built over months rather than days. Historical parallels from earlier outbreaks show that when violence disrupts supply routes or forces repeated evacuations, even basic case isolation becomes far more difficult than maps suggest. Knowing this, when you hear claims that more resources will quickly end the outbreak, you can evaluate whether those resources address physical security and local relationships or simply assume open roads and willing populations. Next time you see a headline about an Ebola case count, ask who controls the roads to treatment centers, what recent violence has occurred nearby, and how long health workers have already been on site building relationships. Meanwhile, the Chancellor has cut VAT on trips to attractions such as Legoland from 20% to 5% until September. The measure aims to ease cost of living pressures for families. No additional help for energy bills or a broader shopping price cap was included. BBC reporting presents the change as targeted relief for households facing higher everyday costs. Daily Mail coverage notes the absence of wider price controls and questions whether the limited scope will deliver meaningful savings. Both outlets agree the cut applies only to selected attractions. They differ on whether it represents sufficient support during current economic conditions. Which families are most likely to benefit from reduced VAT on attractions? Turning to retail developments in the United States. Walmart issued a worse-than-expected outlook for the coming period. The company's CFO noted that elevated gas prices are affecting shopper behavior, despite some offset from tax refunds. Broader market volatility tied to inflation concerns is also influencing retail forecasts. CNBC highlights how fuel costs are squeezing household budgets and reducing discretionary spending. Some investors see the results as a signal of wider consumer caution, while others point to temporary factors like tax timing. The data show pressure on the outlook. Views differ on whether this reflects short-term volatility or a longer shift in spending patterns. How do gas prices influence overall retail performance? In the United Kingdom, temperatures are forecast to reach 33 degrees Celsius, potentially making it the hottest May bank holiday on record. The UK Health Security Agency has issued heat health alerts for southern, eastern, and central England, lasting 6 days. Officials are advising extra precautions for vulnerable groups. Mail Online stresses the record-breaking potential and the need for public awareness. Health agencies focus on practical steps to reduce risks, while local authorities prepare cooling centers. All sources agree the alert period runs through next week. They differ on the balance between enjoying the weather and protecting health. Which groups face the highest risk during heat alerts? A Mexican mother found the bones of her son in the desert 7 years after he was kidnapped by a drug cartel. She leads a collective of mothers searching for missing loved ones and has become a recognized figure in the country. France 24 presents the discovery as both a personal closure and a reminder of ongoing disappearances linked to cartel violence. Families in similar situations see her persistence as a model, while authorities note the challenges of investigating cases in remote areas. The facts confirm the identification of remains. Views differ on how effectively the justice system supports such searches. What resources do search collectives typically rely on? Before we go, tomorrow watch for further updates on how international shipping firms respond to the new map of the Strait of Hormuz. That wraps up today's Omni View. Remember, the best informed people read more than one perspective. If this show helps you do that, share it with someone who values fair coverage. See you tomorrow. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.